that are bringing their true colors, their specialities to the mainstream and making our lives a lot brighter, a lot simpler. So yes, it's a day to shine a spotlight on creativity in all its wild, wonderful and inspiring forms. We're going to be joined by the visionaries, three of them, who help us see the world a little differently, hear it a little deeper and feel it a lot more. We've got a lineup of pure talent joining us this morning, and then we'll be revisiting the story that's got the whole country talking about legitimacy of ORS labeled drinks. The pediatrician who has been at the forefront of this battle with the FSSAI couldn't celebrate for too long because the Delhi High Court has paused FSSAI's ORS trademark ban. Now, what does that mean for health authorities in the country, for public health at large? We'll be decoding that all-important story with two health warriors at the helm of this fight. And lastly, on the Breakfast Club, we will get you this week's entertainment lowdown, everything in the world of Collywood and Bollywood making headlines. That and much more coming up in just a bit. Well, International Artists' Day is marked every year on 25th of October to celebrate those who make sense of the world through their art. We're talking about the painters, the sculptors, photographers, singers, writers, dancers and creators who hold up a mirror to life, sometimes harsh, else hopeful. Since the day falls on Saturday, we're celebrating it a little early this morning to shine a light on how creativity continues to exist even in the smallest corners and youngest minds. Art has always done what words can't. It can comfort, provoke, or just make you stop and feel something real for a moment. Behind every piece of art is an artist with inspiration, doubt, and also the need to express. So this morning, we're bringing three people who know that feeling all too well. We start with Atharv Bakshi, the young singer who took India by storm on Superstar Singer Season 3. Also accompanying him is Sachin Sange, a micro-sculpture artist whose precision turns the tiniest spaces into entire worlds. And lastly, we're being joined by Yogesh Bhatia, a wildlife photographer who spent his life capturing the power of nature. Each of them, viewers, come from a different world, but they all share the same instinct to create, to express and to connect. Thank you so much for being with us, three of you. Thank you. It's lovely looking at all of you this morning. And really excited to be taking this conversation forward. Can I start with you, Atharv?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Please.
Atharv, being the youngest member here amongst us, tell us all about your journey. Superstar Singer Season 3 winner is amongst us. How has your life changed since we're talking on World Artists' Day? Tell us a little bit about music and what it does to your life.
Music. I think music is a way to communicate emotions, and whenever I sing, I feel a different. I go in a different mood, and it's really good to sing. And I started singing from the age of 7, and I started learning from the age of 8.
It's 8 hours.
But yeah.
Okay, so you started really early, and then, these very big moments of your life also arrived early on because of how talented you are, how supremely talented you are. Atharv, we'll take that conversation forward. Sachin, you've been with us here on the Breakfast Club earlier. We've tracked a little bit of your journey ever since the last 1 odd year. How has that changed? Tell us a little bit about your latest projects, what you're up to, and where has sculpting led you?
Yes, hi everyone, good morning. And first of all, wishing all of you, the fellow artists here in the panel and also out there who enjoy doing what they do best. And happy International Artists' Day. Have been here before to share my journey, and special to be here on this special occasion too. Yeah, of course. Since we met last time, there's been a lot in my artistic journey. Had done few sculptures, not many. I think last time when we met, it was maybe a couple of years ago, or more than a year ago. Uh, I think I did a couple of things that stand out, uh, like Balarama. On the occasion of Ayodhya's Ram Mandir inauguration, had done a miniature sculpture of Rama, though it is not exact replica of the Rama that is situated in the temple, because it was not revealed before the date. So I had done imagining what it could be, how it could be. So that was one, and many other portrait sculptures bursts I had done during this 1 or 2 years. Yes, I look for occasions. I draw inspiration from the people around and the occasions, the trend, the social media buzz. I just keep my mind open to the free flow of thoughts and ideas, so that I can take something out of it to put it in my sculpture.
Okay, I want to then also use this as an opportunity to ask you, Sachin, about your creative process. What goes into creating such intricate art with such tiny details? You know, we're putting out some of these visuals, and who can tell this is either a small piece of chalk or a pencil lead? You can't figure out. It's only because, you know, you put it out in a way that looks so grand, looks so larger than life, that we're all failing to understand this. So what's the hack here?
Yeah, as you know, the mediums here are chalk and pencil lead. They're tinier, and they are brittle, they are powdery, and as unconventional medium. And they're cylindrical, and they're not cube or some solid structure to draw your initial sketch and then start a process like how it's 3D basically. So you have to visualize what you're going to carve first, the dimensions, the portions, the symmetry, everything has to be intact, everything has to be visualized. It cannot be drawn or you cannot mark anything on chalk or a pencil lead for that matter. So, and at the end of it, it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of patience to, understand to. By now I have now understood. Like how the medium behaves, how to hold the tools, the chalk piece itself, and how much pressure to be applied. And you cannot hurry in doing things. You have to be patient, and you have to put. You have to pour all your heart and bring life to that sculpture. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Earlier,
that's all.
Sachin, you told us that this would be something that you would engage with on the weekends typically, and the rest of the week is your usual 9 to 5. Has that changed? Has that not changed? We'll take that conversation forward. I'll come back to you.
Sure.
I do want to go across to Yogesh ji for a bit as well. Yogesh, tell us a little bit about your journey into the wild. So how did wildlife photography come to you? At what age? What was the inspiration? Tell us a little bit about your story.
First of all, congrats on the World Artist Day, and to you and your panel artists and all the viewers. My journey started when I was a child. I was holding a box camera of my father, going to the zoo. I think from there I have developed my love with the animals. And slowly that got ignited in me, and now I'm having the big camera going to every park, every jungle, worldwide, rather in Africa and India, every part of India, to catch the emotions of the animals that should reach to the heart of the people over here and get the awareness how the animal kingdom is. So that is a little bit part of my journey, and that's it.
You don't really need to put that in words, because your feelings, your emotions, your thoughts, all of that is captured by your lens, and it's for all of us to see on our screens as well, Yogesh.
Yes.
Atharv, I want to get back to the singing a little bit. I was just revisiting all of your clips from season 3. और आपने लोगों को कितना रुलाया भाई, मतलब कितना रुला के आप मानोगे. We saw Neha Kakkar, every song that you were singing, she was crying her lungs out. There was a special appearance of Vidya Balan. She was all teary-eyed. In fact, she also, I believe, sent a voice note to her husband that Atharv must sing in one of your movies, make him sing in one of your movies. So has that happened? तब से लेके अब तक क्या कुछ ऑफर्स आए हैं, कहीं काम कर रहे हैं, क्या कोलैबोरेशन हो रहा है? Tell us more.
From that time, बहुत कुछ चेंज हुआ है. And that episode when Vidya ma'am came, she did record a audio voice to her husband. वैसे अभी तक तो कुछ नहीं हुआ है, but I hope जरूर होगा. And बाकी बहुत सारे रिकॉर्डिंग्स हुए मेरे, एंड बहुत सारी जगहों पे भी मैंने शोज किए. तो मुझे तो बहुत अच्छा लगा. वैसे
अथर्व, तो हमारी दिन की शुरुआत आपके सिंगिंग से ही होनी चाहिए. दैट्स हाउ इट शुड बी. वी ऑल्सो वॉन्ट टू बी ट्रीटेड दिस मॉर्निंग एज वी सेलिब्रेट वर्ल्ड आर्टिस्ट डे. तो कुछ सुनाइए हमें. आई सी बोथ द जेंटलमैन नॉडिंग, तो वी आर ऑल इन अग्रीमेंट हियर.
वैसे तो ये मॉर्निंग टाइम है, तो मॉर्निंग में बहुत सारे लोग मेडिटेशन करते हैं, बहुत पूजा भी करते हैं. सो मैं आपको एक छोटा सा श्लोक सुनाता हूँ. वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. थैंक यू.
अगर आपने डिसाइड कर लिया है कि आप सबको रुला के ही मानेंगे, आप कुछ भी गाए, पीपल हैव टू फील टीयरी आइड, दे हैव टू फील द इमोशन. अथर्व, इतनी यंग उम्र में, एट दैट एज, हाउ डू यू गेट दैट डेप्थ, that kind of sincerity to your voice? Of course it comes naturally to you, but आप अपने रिहर्सल के बारे में बताइए. How have you mastered the art? Tell us all about the process, because no one can tell. If you don't put a face to that voice, no one can tell it's a 12-13-year-old singing. कैसे करते हैं आप ये?
Sorry. Actually, मेरे घर पे मेरे जो फादर है वो गाते हैं. Like he used to sing, but अब वो नहीं, मतलब उन्हें परस्यू नहीं कर पाया सिंगिंग. बट मैं एक प्रोसेस से सॉन्ग को सुनता हूँ. लाइक फर्स्ट मैं उसका वीडियो देखता हूँ, देन उसके बाद मैं उसको 5-6 बार सुनता हूँ, फिर लिरिक्स लिखता हूँ. सो उस प्रोसेस से आप अगर उस गाने को कंटिन्यूसली सुनते हैं तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली आपके दिमाग में बैठ जाता है वो सॉन्ग. एंड जो हमारे लेजेंड्स हैं जैसे लता जी, रफ़ी सर, किशोर कुमार सर, उन सभी के गाने जो है वो एकदम दिल को छू जाते हैं. और उनके सॉन्ग्स जब मैं सुनता हूँ तब मुझे रियलाइज़ होता है कि एक्चुअली सिंगिंग में इमोशंस क्या होते हैं और उनका अहमियत कितना होता है. क्योंकि अगर आप ब्लैंकली भी गाएंगे तो कुछ होता फील नहीं होता, बट अगर आप उसमें इमोशंस डाल के गाते हैं तो वो बहुत ही अलग, बहुत ही अच्छा फील होता है. वो कनेक्ट हो जाता है सॉन्ग पर्सन से. सो मैं बस उसी प्रोसेस को फॉलो करता हूँ एंड फोकस करके गाता हूँ.
लवली. और वो फोकस बहुत अच्छे से दिखता भी है आपकी परफॉर्मेंस में. अब सचिन, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट यू अ लिटिल बिट सिंस वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट क्रिएटिव प्रोसेस, inspiration. Inspiration is so key to each and every artist and the work that they put in, the art that they come up with. Tell us about your inspiration. What's the inspiration behind each of your pieces? So, do you draw inspiration from nature, from your surroundings, people? How do you go about what you're going to be working on next?
Yeah, of course. The things you mentioned, the things around us, people around us, the occasions, the trends, anything can inspire an artist. Like, you have to be open to all of that, so that you'll be able to think. Your thoughts are not restricted, and of course, like my previous work will definitely motivate me to to up the level, to take up new challenges, to do something innovative in my next culture. I mean, yeah, you have to do something. You have to upskill yourself. That's the thing in every field. You have to upskill every day. It's a constant
And
process.
how do you find inspiration when your creativity feels blocked? Because that is also another phase every artist faces.
Yes, exactly. I mean, it's all about keeping your passion intact, and you have to. It's a momentary blockade only. It's not going to block your permanently your thoughts or your work. It's a temporary thing. You have to be. You just look at your previous work, or you just keep your maybe you think of your goal. What next? What the thing you want to achieve next? If it's that, if it is exciting, if it's more exciting, and if that will keep you going. That will make you think beyond your limits and achieve it. So it's about keeping your mind open to all the ideas. Maybe it can appear from anywhere. It can an idea can be triggered from anything, like surrounding anything surrounding you, people, or anything.
Okay.
So you have to be open.
Okay. I did see Yogesh ji also nodding aggressively to that when I spoke of creativity block. तो सर आपके साथ भी हुआ है? How often does it happen? How do you overcome it? What's your process there?
Generally, बहुत कम होता है, because every time, every day when we go to jungle, we have to face the new challenges, new things. So creativity block तब होगा जब we are going for the same process. Though the process is the same, camera is the same, focus is the same, but the subject, movement, sometimes cubs are playing with their mothers, so that don't give you the blockage of the creativity. In any case, that happened. Then we sit over there, I keep my camera aside, then I just watching them and enjoying them, then restart. So generally ये बहुत कम होता है.
Very clearly, Yogesh ji, big cats are your favorite to capture.
Yeah.
तो सबसे यादगार experience क्या रहा है? It's not just in the Indian context. You've traveled across the world, and we've seen some beautiful photography out there that you've put out. What's been your favorite personally?
My favorite is abhi recently in Africa, Masai Mara. I've gone over there. That was the great migration season. You must have heard about the great migration. That is the peak season when the animal movements are at their peak. So as you have shown that clip, lion was hunting on the wildebeest and everything. That was also good. But one good thing I got is the hyena pup. Mother hyena took her pup, and I think that was the stillborn. So that was, I think I am the first to capture it, and that is one of the best moments of my life till yet, and very more to come.
Okay, lovely. Atharva, let's go back to your performances. Any stage nerves there? तो before you start with your performance, थोड़ी सी घबराहट, थोड़ी सी nervousness होती है. अगर होती है तो how do you overcome that? Because everyone who's looking at you as a role model today would want a few tips on how to overcome that feeling, that anxiety that you feel moments before your performance starts. अथर्व आप शायद म्यूट हैं. हाँ, okay, I can hear you.
Yeah. I'd say that stage nervousness is something that I strive for, as it keeps me more focused. Because जब आप थोड़ा nervous रहते तो आप sincere रहते अपने काम की तरफ. So I feel like that brings the best out of me, and it keeps me focused and helps me work more hard. So before every show, it be every show, performance, or even any recording, I feel that nervousness, and that nervousness makes me confident. And when I'm on the stage or in front of the mic in a recording, everything just flies away. I'm not nervous at all that time.
And how do you balance it all at that young age with so much talent, that you're putting out there for the world to see, enjoy, sing along? How do you balance your studies, your rehearsals? For instance, when you were on Superstar Singer Season 3. How do you put all of that together? And what's the priority like? So, सबसे पहले music आता है.
No, no, I'd say सबसे पहले मेरे लिए studies आता है
Is
क्योंकि
it so? Okay.
हाँ क्योंकि because I think studies is very important for a base ताकि आप हमेशा वो रहे. And वैसे balance करना it's not that hard if you try, and I try to be my best to create the balance. क्योंकि whenever I'm at home, I try not to miss any of my school, but whenever I go for shows or for any recordings, I do miss my school. But I carry my books with me so that I can study. But my school is also very supportive, Ran International School, Kharghar. So the school is also very supportive. Then my teachers and my fellow classmates, and of course my mama. So actually, my mama was a teacher in the school I studied. She was a teacher there, but because of my shows, she left her job. But right now, I'm her favorite student. So whenever I go like out of station, I miss my schools. I do carry my books for studies.
Okay, you're also a very studious child. so we have an all-rounder here amongst us. Okay, Sachin, very quickly, because the last few minutes, and I do want Atharv to leave us with another song before we say bye-bye this morning. Sachin, yours is also a very unconventional form of art. What would your message be to those who are looking at exploring things that, haven't found their places yet? How did you go about it? How did you deal with that phase? How did you tackle those challenges? Unheard of. It's not really in the mainstream, let's say.
Yes, exactly. So even the work I do, I call it Chakriti. I have named it that way, an akriti made of chalk. So you're already you're already one of the few who are exploring unconventional form of art. So that itself is an high already. So that gives you an edge, and you can be pioneer in that. Like there's nobody else. That gives you. I think that's why I'm here. I'm the recognition and everything follows your. You don't have to go behind any such recognitions.
So the
or
fact
awards,
that it's
but
not so common is also something that's driving you to pursue it even more. Take it a level up. Lovely.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. We're running out of time. Atharv, we've made that promise to our viewers already. So please give us a quick favorite of yours, and then we'll say bye-bye this morning.
My favorite, I'd say my favorite song is Patta Patta Buta Buta, because this song gave my first recognition, and as it was my first viral song on the show, so I would like to sing a few lines. कोई किसी को चाहे तो क्यों गुनाह समझते हैं लोग, कोई किसी के खातिर तड़पे अगर तो हंसते हैं लोग, बेगाना आलम है सारा, यहाँ तो कोई हमारा दर्द नहीं पहचाने हैं, पत्ता पत्ता बूटा बूटा हाल हमारा जाने है, पत्ता पत्ता.
Need we say more? Clap. Thank you so much, Atharv. You've truly made our morning. Thank you for giving us such a lovely start. And to all three of you, a very happy World Artist Day. Thank you for your contribution, and thank you for making our lives so much more entertaining. Okay, with that, it's time for us to head into a very quick breather. Coming up next, we'll be revisiting the story that's got the whole country talking about legitimacy of ORS, the Delhi High Court order. has once again raised concerns among health officials on what this means for how these ORS sugary drinks find their way back to medical stores. That conversation coming up in just a few minutes.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Pakistan or the TLP, Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif will chair Federal Cabinet meeting to discuss the same. Pakistan Federal Cabinet will be discussing key issues, which also includes a ban on TLP, on Pak-Afghan ceasefire discussions likely expected, Afghan refugees repatriation and overall security situation in the country. Because do remember, overall the situation remains tense still. Sources also adding that the federal government is adopting hard state policy against extremist religious groups. And Pakistan Defence Minister will be briefing the federal cabinet on the Pakistan-Afghanistan ceasefire as well. Immediate agreement in Doha last week. All of that on the agenda. The federal cabinet will then discuss the new Afghan policy, which Pakistan drafted after Afghan Taliban foreign minister's India visit. Going across to Akanksha Swaroop, who joins us with more details. Akanksha, we've seen the kind of protests that have been staged by the TLP in the recent past and the crackdown that's come in from the top in Pakistan against the same. But tell us a little bit about what all could be discussed through the meeting. We've broadly laid out for our viewers the key issues that are going to be put on the table, but what's expected as a result of this?
Right. Krithvi, in inputs that have been shared by Securities Editor Manoj Gupta, what we are learning is that the Federal Cabinet will also be approving the terms of reference for the next round of Pakistan-Afghan ceasefire talks that are all set to take place on 25th of October in Istanbul. And remember, Turkey is playing a very critical role, as is Qatar. And if you are to talk about the overall priority of this federal cabinet meeting, it is going to be with regards to the recent conflict that happened across the Durand line between Afghanistan and Pakistan. The big question that everybody is asking right now across the globe, not just in Afghanistan and Pakistan or India, is that for how long will this ceasefire hold? It's a very fragile ceasefire. So the federal cabinet will also be discussing the new Afghan policy, which Pakistan drafted after Afghan Taliban foreign minister visit. Remember, Amir Khan Muttaqi was in India, and that has really ruffled feathers within the Pakistan deep state and the Pak establishment. The recent Durand line conflict has rattled Pakistan significantly. The Pakistan Defence Minister Khwaja Asif is all set to brief the federal cabinet on the ceasefire with regards to the immediate agreement that was struck upon last week in Doha. And they are adopting a hard state policy against extremist religious group that, of course, also refers to not just TLP but also the TTP. But a key decision to ban a religious party like Tehreek-e-Labbaik.
Welcome back. Well, we covered the ORS story yesterday, how one doctor's 8-year fight forced FSSAI to ban fake ORS drinks being sold as medical products. That victory has hit a pause though. The Delhi High Court has temporarily halted the FSSAI directive allowing companies to sell their existing ORS or rather ORSL stocks for now. Johnson & Johnson's ORSL is among the brands that sought relief from the court. Manufacturers argued the ban caused heavy financial loss and the ORS is a generic term, not an exclusive medical label. FSSAI, however, maintains public health cannot be compromised for profit. Now, health experts are calling this a setback. Fake ORS products are back on shelves temporarily and doctors fear parents may again be misled. The regulator is expected to file its response in court soon. But for the Breakfast Club, this story is now a campaign, one that began with a doctor's warning and continues with a national debate over truth in labels and trust in medicine. So joining us live are two people who have been at the center of this very fight. First up, the doctor who was speaking of the 8-year-long fight she fought, Dr. Sivaranjani Santosh, whose years of persistence forced a national rethink on fake ORS labels, is with us this morning. Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
We also are being joined by Revant Himatsingha, health educator and public policy voice, who's been tracking this story very closely. He's done a little math for us, so we'll go across to him in just a bit to understand what this means for India at large, for the kind of consumption that these ORSL Tetra packs could see. But Dr. Santosh, I want to begin with you. Not too long ago, we were having this very conversation. You were elated at the fact that finally all the legal battles, the hard work that you put in through and through paid off, and FSSAI came out with a directive that none of these manufacturers can use ORS on as their label. So ORS in any form, prefix, suffix, it's not going to be allowed. That directive has been paused. What are your first thoughts?
So actually, I want to clarify to the viewers about this stay. Okay, it is recorded in the court as a consent order. That means the petitioner JNTL has requested that they be heard. They be heard by the FSSAI. And FSSAI agreed or consented to that proposal. Only after that, the court disposed of the petition and gave the stay order that till in a week's time, FSSAI has to hear the proposal and dispose it off. So this was done on 17th of October, right? Today is 24th of October. So the onus is on FSSAI now to listen to their proposal and dispose it off in such a way that from today, none of the misleading labels are available anywhere, either pharmacies or hospitals or schools or supermarkets. None of these misleading labels of ORS. ORS is a great drug. We are not talking about ORS here. We are talking about misleadingly labeled high sugar drinks, misleadingly labeled as ORS. So that was a consent order. I mean, it was recorded in the court as a consent order, and FSSAI has agreed to the proposal to listen to JNTL. JNTL
But
is an
wouldn't
Indian
that
subsidiary
eventually,
of
wouldn't that
Kenvue, which is a
intervention,
spin-off of the Johnson & Johnson.
Dr. Santosh, wouldn't that intervention have come in from the court as is, because JNTL decided to move the court, and so they're going to have to be heard. Law demands that.
No. It is a limited order. What the court said is, I am giving you 1 week's time.
Yeah.
I mean, like they've requested for 1 week's time, and FSSAI has consented to that. So
because
both
FSSAI has come out with a detailed statement. It says it's being wrongly claimed in some social media posts that FSSAI has permitted the disposal or sale of ORSL. It's also being wrongly claimed that FSSAI has given consent for the same. So that's the clarification that's coming from their end. That we've not permitted the sale of ORSL as of now.
No. If you see my tweet, I said FSSAI has agreed or consented to the request by JNTL to listen to them, to their proposal. If FSSAI had not agreed to that, maybe the stay order also would not have come. So the onus is on FSSAI now to dispose it off ASAP, because that 1 week is over now. So JNTL has to represent it today to FSSAI, and FSSAI has to say, okay, we are done. You cannot sell these misleading labels anymore. So we have not misrepresented the facts at all. Anybody can go and read the court order, and it's very clear.
Okay. Dr. Santosh, now quickly, for all those who missed out on our earlier program when we actually discussed this issue, before I go across to Revant, I want you to come in and really put out the difference between the two. So the conventional ORS, which has the WHO approval, versus the ORSL that you're opposing, the one that you've been fighting against for 7-8 years now. Tell us about the major difference, about the high sugar content in this fake ORS.
WHO recommended formula ORS should have 13.5 grams dextrose per liter, whereas this ORSL, which they call nowadays as ORSL, most of their liquids, they have two different ones which have stevia, and one, they also came up with WHO recommended formula recently. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the other high sugar liquids where there is 120 grams of sugar per liter. Where is 13.5 gram per liter and where is 120 gram per liter? And it is no brainer, and it is a very well known scientific fact and a medical fact that this excess sugar will worsen the diarrhea. So to a child who is having diarrhea, we are giving a liquid called ORSL, which has almost 9 to 10 times the amount of sugar that should be there in the actual ORS, actual WHO recommended formula ORS. So the diarrhea will worsen, and the child will end up getting hospitalized, and this can potentially lead to death. And as you all know, out of 100 deaths in the under 5 age group, 13 children die because of diarrhea.
Okay.
So 13.5 gram per liter dextrose there, and 120 gram per liter sugar here. That is the difference.
So not only are these sugary drinks, beverages not rehydrating the child in this case, they're also worsening the diarrhea condition, which is what is so very worrying. Okay, let's go across to Food Farmer. Revant, what's been your analysis? You've done a little bit of math, you've taken the story forward, and you've said this is very concerning. If 180 crore worth of ORSLs were to be found in medical stores, on shelves, back again, it could mean distribution of about 4 crore Tetra packs, correct?
Yes. So basically, JNTL or the ORSL, basically they said that they still have 180 crores worth of stock which they want to clear. Now, the selling price of ORSL is around 45 rupees. So if you do simple math of 180 crore divided by 45, it's like 4 crore packs. Now, if we assume that, even if you assume that 25% of them are consumed by children, that's 1 crore packs going straight into the bodies of children. So that's the challenge, that it's a lot of people who are going to get affected if this court has stayed this order. The other thing is, I am assuming this 180 crore is based on the selling price. Assuming it's based on the cost price, it will be even more. Because the cost would probably be 20-25 rupees or even lesser. So if you do 180 crore divided by 20 to 23 rupees, then the number of packs of fake ORSL is even more. So that's the challenge, which is why I'm opposing this very aggressively, is that we don't want lakhs or crores of children. Ideally, I would not even want one child to consume this, which is why both the doctor and I have been opposing this.
Dr. Santosh, let's get back to 2022, because you spoke of how FSSAI did come in with the correct directive, had come out to say that, this is not going to be allowed. You cannot sell your products under the label ORS in any form or shape. So it cannot be used as a prefix, suffix, etc. But that order was reversed. And that's where you decided to not give up and take it a step further. What do you think is turning out to be the biggest challenge here? What is the pressure tactic you think is at the heart of this? What's your analysis?
See, first thing, 14th order was given, 15th clarification was given, right? And this JNTL filed their request on 17th, right? In these 2 days also, FSSAI didn't remove these things from the shelves. They were still on the shelves. It's not like they are back on the shelves. They are continuing to be on the shelves. Okay, that is one clarification I want to make. Okay, and the challenge was they allowed these companies to continue using their trademark where the 3 letters ORS are highlighted, and down, they could use a disclaimer. This is not an ORS. Disclaimers cannot protect dubious labels. It's like saying I'm an apple, I'm not an apple. You yourself, the company itself is saying I'm not an ORS, right? I mean, it's very obvious. See, it's very obvious for anybody that they have named it in such a way that people buy it thinking it is ORS. It is very obvious. It is no brainer there.
Okay. Revan, do you think the problem here is prioritizing marketing to an extent that medicine is being ignored? Do you think that's what's gone wrong here?
Yes, by and large, that we prioritize marketing, unfortunately, in every space. So the industry is prioritizing marketing, and we ignore the health impacts, and sometimes we justify things based on freedom of choice and legal loopholes. So, like a small, tiny disclaimer, not an ORS. So technically, they were legally compliant potentially. So the challenge is that with every law you pass, there can be some loophole which someone can find and say that we are legally compliant. So even in the past, when I have fought some legal battles with companies and I have called out fake marketing, they keep saying one thing: we are compliant with the law. I never said that you're not compliant with the law. All I usually say in my videos is that you're misleading the users. So I think that's the thing that they use, there's a line, creative visualization. You'll see a big orange, but there'll be barely any orange in juice and things like that. So they use creative visualization to an extent where it becomes lying almost. There's a difference between marketing and lying, and some of the companies cross that border and essentially it becomes lying, and that is what is the concerning part.
And since Food Farmer always does a lot of research when he's putting out content on social media, which is largely informative, so to spread awareness, to ensure that people are on the same page, and to put facts out there. Revan, tell us, have you interacted with parents? Have you been able to speak to people who have come and told you in person that yes, we've also fallen prey to this, we've also thought that this is ORS and not, some other sugary beverage?
It happens all the time. So I speak at every Saturday, I speak at a school or to parents, and every time I bring up a PowerPoint slide with ORSL and then not an ORS, 90% at least of people are surprised. They've never heard of it before. And they used to have it all these years, thinking it's real ORS. In fact, if you go to the largest pharmacies in India and you ask them for an ORS, they'll give you the ORSL. So there is a whole incentive mismatch there because they are also being pushed to meet their sales target and things like that. But yeah, most parents do not know the difference between ORS and ORSL. Thankfully, now through shows like this, their awareness is increasing. But even till a week ago, when this news had not broken out like the way it has in the last 1 week, the awareness was not there at all. Now I think it's increasing.
Yeah, I think the story changed instantly after the FSSAI directive. Dr. Santosh, very quickly, because you've had personal experiences of this, parents come with their children in a horrible condition, suffering with diarrhea, who've come out to tell you that this is what we've given to our child. Tell us what's happened in each of those cases, just so that people are aware of what the difference is between the two.
After this verdict came, at least every day 2 to 3 parents will come inside my room, break down, hug me and say, ma'am, it was so painful for us. And my child had diarrhea. We were continuing to give this ORSL and my child was hospitalized. And now we realized why he was hospitalized. And thank you for speaking up for all of us. And so many DMs, one DM I'll tell you, that child is diabetic. Okay. And the parents continued to give ORSL, and they had to shift him from Jammu and Kashmir to Chandigarh. and finally, okay, the child survived. But just imagine that pain and that agony, something which could have been very well prevented had the child been given the right ORS and not these sugary drinks which have actually worsened the diarrhea. It is so unfair. So, it's so unfair. And even now, the rural people, many of them will not know what's happening now. Mostly the urban people will not buy this. But when these companies try to dispose of the stock, then rural people, they'll be the biggest sufferers. And also, I really thank the government for issuing this order, and I earnestly request the government to ensure that this thing is disposed of today, and make sure it's implemented right from today. And in the future, only WHO recommended formula ORS and plain water should be made available in any medical facility or pharmacy or school, irrespective of the label. Because today they are using the name ORS, tomorrow they'll use the name electrolyte, something, and they'll again try to be on the shelves. So they have to bring
Dr.
in a law
Santosh,
where in the pharmacies only medicines have to be sold.
A lot more needs to be done. There's so much that needs to be streamlined, formalized, so that this pattern doesn't repeat itself. But thank you for sharing your story with us, and thank you for fighting this fight, bringing so much awareness to all of us. Thank you, Revant, for joining us this morning. We will hopefully reconnect, because this is not the end to the conversation as yet. Well, with that, we head into a very quick break. Coming up next is another interesting segment on everything that you need to catch up on from the world of entertainment. We'll be right back.
Nominees for the award this year are just simply brilliant. I think it's an assembly line of brilliance.
Incredible. I'm in awe, I'm inspired, and I honestly don't know who to choose.
We had a really tough time to decide. Indians are making it on the global stage, and I believe that whatever happens happens for the best.
We're going to have a really tough time ahead of us to really pick winners.
Hello. This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Pakistan, or the TLP, Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif will chair Federal Cabinet meeting to discuss the same. Pakistan Federal Cabinet will be discussing key issues, which also includes a ban on TLP, on Pak-Afghan ceasefire discussions likely expected, Afghan refugees repatriation, and overall security situation in the country. Because do remember, overall the situation remains tense still. Sources also adding that the federal government is adopting hard state policy against extremist religious groups, and Pakistan Defence Minister will be briefing the federal cabinet on the Pakistan-Afghanistan ceasefire as well. Immediate agreement in Doha last week. All of that on the agenda. The federal cabinet will then discuss the new Afghan policy, which Pakistan drafted after Afghan Taliban foreign minister's India visit. Going across to Akanksha Saroop, who joins us with more details. Akanksha, we've seen the kind of protests that have been staged by the TLP in the recent past and the crackdown that's come in from the top in Pakistan against the same. But tell us a little bit about what all could be discussed through the meeting. We've broadly laid out for our viewers the key issues that are going to be put on the table, but what's expected as a result of this?
Right. Krithvi, in inputs that have been...
Welcome back. Lights, camera, and a mix of celebration and condolences. It's been an eventful week in the world of entertainment, from the passing of a legendary actor to the joy of new parenthood and some shocking incidents making headlines. Titas takes you through the lowdown of the week. Here's what's been trending.
there, let's take a quick look at the week that was. Veteran actor Asrani, best known for his iconic comic roles, passed away at the age of 84 after prolonged illness and fluid accumulation in his lungs. As per the Sholay and Bhool Bhulaiya actor's final wish, his final rites that took place on Diwali was kept private with no media coverage or public announcement. PM Narendra Modi took to social media to express his condolences, while Asrani's peers like Akshay Kumar, Amitabh Bachchan, Shabana Azmi and Kangana Ranaut, among many others, mourned his loss. Asrani was currently filming Priyadarshan's Haiwan and had a scene left to shoot. On Diwali, Deepika Padukone and Ranveer Singh finally revealed their daughter Dua's face through a joint post on Instagram. The actor couple had repeatedly asked the media and their fans to respect their privacy and not click or circulate photos of their daughter earlier, maintaining a strict no photo policy for months. In August this year, Deepika lost her cool when Dua was secretly filmed at Mumbai airport and she sternly asked the person recording to stop. Deepika and Ranveer welcomed Dua in September last year and formally announced her name during Diwali 2024. In a shocking incident, popular Punjabi singer Teji Kahlo was shot in Canada. The attack was confirmed and claimed by men associated with gangster Rohit Godara. In a post on social media, the associates of the Godara gang claimed Teji was supplying arms and was conspiring an attack against their gang and threatened that they would finish him next time if he doesn't get their message. The singer is currently hospitalized. On a related note, in 2023, gunshots were heard outside Gippy Grewal's Vancouver residence, with Lawrence Bishnoi claiming responsibility of the act. South Korean actor Kim Soo-hyun is all set to appear in Seoul's Central District Court on November 21st, marking the first hearing in a lawsuit filed by cosmetics brand A 7 months ago. The case, valued at 500 million South Korean won, stems from the abrupt termination of his modeling contract amid personal controversies. Soo-hyun's legal team has consistently denied allegations about his relationship with late actor Kim Se-ron. They emphasized he never had a relationship with her during her minor years, as he was serving in the military at that time, as evidence of his innocence. Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas have finally called it quits after dating for 9 months. They sparked dating speculations in February this year when they stepped out for a stroll together in London's Soho neighbourhood during Valentine's Day weekend. As per a source close to them, they have now decided to call off their relationship after realizing that the spark has gone. Tom and Anna's relationship used to often grab attention due to their 26-year age difference. However, despite their alleged split, Anna will star in the Mission Impossible star's next film, a supernatural thriller titled Deeper. That's all for this week. I'll be back soon.
All right, shifting focus now to Delhi's air quality and how it's taken a severe hit with pollution levels soaring to alarming heights. That's what Delhiites are waking up to every morning. But what's behind this toxic crisis? Experts reveal that while farm fires contribute less than 2% to the pollution, local sources like vehicles, industries and open waste burning are major culprits. Anumita Roy Chaudhary from the Centre for Science and Environment sheds light on the issue, highlighting the need to shift the blame from farm fires alone to the real polluters. We leave you with this very special conversation. Thanks for watching.
Let's accept it. Delhi is one of the most polluted cities in the world. Yet every winter we see this massive hue and cry over who is responsible for this sudden spike in the pollution levels around Diwali. Is it the firecrackers, or is it the stubble burning happening in the neighbouring states, or is it just weather? The political blame game begins. Interestingly, this time around there was a remarkable reduction in the stubble burning incidents happening in the neighbouring states. Punjab, especially in the aftermath of the floods, reported a 72% fall in the farm fires this harvesting season. Yet, a toxic haze enveloped the entire national capital. So today we have with us one of the foremost authorities on air pollution in the national capital, Ms. Anumita Roy Chaudhary from Centre for Science and Environment. Now, Anumita has been tracking the air pollution in the national capital for many years. So, Anumita, I'd like to begin by asking you, what really makes Delhi's air so toxic?
it's so clear, and we know this so well from all the studies that have been carried out since 2015 and 18. First, the detailed studies, which have very clearly shown that if you take all the combustion sources, the industry, vehicles, waste burning, all of these together, they are the major contributor to pollution. In fact, the share of dust is lower than the total contribution of the combustion sources. Now, also very important that right now, IITM has a system of estimating contribution of different sources to Delhi's air quality during winter. And that is also bringing out a very clear insight that even though quite a substantial part of pollution that is coming from the immediate surrounding NCR. But if you look at Delhi's own local pollution sources, then vehicles are at the top, almost half of the overall pollution, and followed by peripheral industry, waste burning, construction, and all these other things that you have, but these are the most prominent ones. And then you have the dust sources. Very interesting, therefore, that when your local sources have such an overpowering impact on your pollution levels, then why this blame game that goes on? Right now, because of the whole Diwali controversy that we just had, right now when the pollution levels are increasing and we experience the first smog episode of the season, the contribution of the farm fire and other rogue during winter, their contribution right now is less than 1 to 2%. So, and Diwali is also over, but pollution levels are continuously rising, and we are tracking it since the first week of October till Diwali. We have already seen 1.6 times, close to 2 times increase in the pollution levels, and that's all local sources without farm fire. Okay, that's only 1%, even less than 1%. So what are we talking about? So now we really have to get very real about the solutions, mainly because if you really look at the overall trend in the pollution levels in Delhi, yes, if you take about a decade trend, you do see a downward curve, that we have bent the pollution curve. But look at it from, say, 2018 onwards, the recent past. Yes, 2018 we were in 116. 2021 onwards, we had started to see a little bit of dip from 106 to 91 to it was coming down till 101. Last year, we again saw it going up again. It's 105 now. So clearly it shows that we are not even being able to hold on to the declining trend, that we are about to lose our gains, and that's serious.
Right. So, Anamita, I'd like to really ask you here, because there's this debate over whether Delhi's air quality is getting better or is it getting worse. Now, when we step out, we can really see the discomfort when we breathe. We don't need the monitoring stations to really confirm that. But how do you see Delhi's air quality? It's still far away from what the standards should be.
So that's the real story. The story is that despite the downward curve in Delhi that we have seen over a period of time, where we are today, and I'm talking about not about our daily winter pollution levels, I'm talking about the annual average, what we breathe throughout the year, we are still so high that Delhi requires more than 60% reduction in overall ambient air pollution to be able to meet our own standards, annual standards. So what are we talking about? So this means, just imagine. Now here the big story is, it's not about Delhi not doing anything. If you really look at what Delhi has done so far, they are not small measures that you first push the diesel out, you bring CNG, pushing old vehicles out, banning all dirty fuels in the industry, pet coke, furnace oil, coal, all stopped. All coal power plants stopped. Okay, so a lot of big ticket decisions have been taken, which has contributed to the downward trend. But now who is thinking about that? What is the scale and the aggressive nature of the action that we require, the stringency we need for the 60% cut?
Icons inspire, but the invincible define an era. Witness the unveiling of India's invincible icons on a stage that crowns greatness. CNN News 18 India of the Year 2025 coming soon. Brought to you by... This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
Pakistan or the TLP, Pakistan Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif will chair Federal Cabinet meeting to discuss the same. Pakistan Federal Cabinet will be discussing key issues, which also includes a ban on TLP, on Pak-Afghan ceasefire discussions likely expected, Afghan refugees repatriation and overall security situation in the country. Because do remember, overall the situation remains tense still. Sources also adding that the federal government is adopting hard state policy against extremist religious groups. And Pakistan Defence Minister will be briefing the federal cabinet on the Pakistan-Afghanistan ceasefire as well. Immediate agreement in Doha last week. All of that on the agenda. The federal cabinet will then discuss the new Afghan policy, which Pakistan drafted after Afghan Taliban foreign minister's India visit. Going across to Akanksha Swaroop, who joins us with more details. Akanksha, we've seen the kind of protests that have been staged by the TLP in the recent past and the crackdown that's come in from the top in Pakistan against the same. But tell us a little bit about what all could be discussed through the meeting. We've broadly laid out for our viewers the key issues that are going to be put on the table, but what's expected as a result of
right.
this?
Right. In inputs that have been shared by...
Icons inspire, but the invincible define an era. Witness the unveiling of India's invincible icons on a stage that crowns greatness. CNN News 18 India of the Year 2025 coming soon.
Good morning and a very warm welcome. Thanks for staying tuned to CNN News 18. I'm Kritsween Walia and here are the top headlines we're tracking at 9 a.m. Massive fire on Bengaluru-bound bus leaves 20 dead in Kurnool district, several injured.